How are we looking? Can you see us okay?
Whoa.
All right. So right after the news, we're on, right?
These ones fit good. These headphones fit good. Yeah, these fit good.
Okay, we're live out there online, everybody. Thanks for joining us out there. We're going to be coming on here in probably a few seconds after the news. So we're standing by here. And what I'll do is I'll have you introduce Michael. You give his background and everything.
Yeah.
I'll say, Cove, we have a special guest
So
coming on tonight.
Yeah,
you can say, yes, we have.
Yeah, hopefully he calls.
He better call.
Welcoming ceremony in that same Fiat subcompact car he took from Joint Base Andrews yesterday. After the White House, Francis addressed his U.S. bishops at St. Matthew's Cathedral in D.C.
I wonder if I should send him another reminder.
Differences amongst themselves.
Maybe we should just let it go.
Focus instead
Let it go. Just let it go.
What's that?
I was
You
going
can
to
send a text.
Send him one.
You can text him a bit.
Send him one. Okay.
But we're going to be coming up on here in a second too. But I got us covered. But I want to make our mics hot. So
Speech at a many deep.
hey, friends, and a pleasant good evening. Welcome to Lions Live, the only network put by the players for the fans. My name is Skip Drobos, along with your Cove Israel, broadcasting live here in State College, streaming live online at lionslive.com. Welcome to a great show here tonight. And we were trying to push some buttons here. We're getting familiar with this, and Tommy's here to make sure we're doing things right. So we thank everybody for their help and support. Talking Penn State football here tonight. And Cove, we have a special guest here coming tonight. I understand you've made some arrangements for us to talk to a special friend of yours.
Yeah, Skip. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm very excited. Mike Haynes, former teammate of mine, actually was a first-round pick for the Chicago Bears. And Chicago Bears is actually the town that I grew up. I'm originally from the Chicago area, so I have a very special place in my heart for any Chicago Bear, and let alone a Penn State Nittany Lions. So we'll be looking for his call coming in shortly around 7:15.
Outstanding. Well, Penn State coming up with a big win here this past week. It's like a night and day difference between what we've seen from the weeks before, and I personally was glad to see an establishment of our ground game for a change. So, Cove, what were some of the highlights and things you noticed from our game here this past weekend?
Yeah, no, thanks, Skip. And I'd like to give a special shout to Carlton Miller. I had a wonderful time today. We had lunch. We got a chance to hear Coach Franklin speak. I wanted to give a couple thoughts on Coach Franklin's talk from the day. He felt that the Rutgers game was the best special teams play of the team this year, and let alone his time at Penn State. So that was good. And also he did confess that penalty was on him. He did confess that he made a mistake. He apologized and said that will never happen again, because we actually had a penalty on the coaching staff for being on the field. And also another notable thing, Coach Franklin mentioned, as our offensive line develops, we're going to start opening the passing game more. You know, that was a question people were wondering, you know, what's going on with the play action? You know, why aren't we taking shots downfield? And Coach Franklin said that, you know, we're thinking the same thing. His receivers coaches, his quarterback coaches are itching to go downfield. And that's something that we just got to be patient. And once the offensive line continues to progress like they're doing, we'll be looking to take more shots downfield.
Outstanding. When I was looking at, you touched on the idea of special teams here, looking at our kick returns, having two of them, we're averaging 18 yards with a long of 22. That's a good return. Anytime you're getting more than 20 yards on any return, you're doing rather well. So our average is good, and even sooner or later we're going to end up breaking one for a touchdown here. And the List local radio station here is going to pay, it's an opening kickoff, is going to make someone extremely wealthy, because I think they have a contest for $10,000 for the name that gets drawn if they run back and kick all the way to first opening kickoff. So I know Magnum Broadcasting does here at State College. So if you haven't signed up, folks, there's places around town you can do that, or stop here in the studio. So get an opportunity to win some money here at Penn State returns a kick for a touchdown. Actually, it's either team. So opening kickoff for a touchdown. So it'd be great to see that happen here one of these weeks ahead. So what are some other highlights you maybe noticed, Jacob, from the game that stood out in your mind?
No, I appreciate that, Skip. And those of us that remember, it was a rainy night Saturday, first night game of the season. We had our first pinstripe game of Penn State's career, which turned out to do very nice. Michigan State actually did one the week prior, so we got a chance to get a little taste, and it looked good from Penn State's perspective. And I think that's going to be a something that we might do as a tradition. But I wanted to kind of touch on some of the stats from our game against Rutgers. We led 21-0 at halftime, and did not allow Rutgers to reach the red zone until going into the fourth quarter. And they only got a field goal out of that. And that was the fewest points since 2011 versus Iowa. So we set some notable statistics there. Also, our ground game totaled 330 yards of our 471 total offensive yards. 174 came out of the first half, and that was the most yards we've had on the ground since 2009. And on the defensive side, we had Rutgers forced to a punt on its first 5 possessions of the game. So that was another impressive statistic. Christian Hackenberg completed 10 of 19 passes with 1 interception for 141 yards, and was not sacked for a consecutive game. So that was another thing we talked about the first week against Temple. We had 10 sacks, maybe more, and last 2 games in a row, Hackenberg has not been sacked. So we're grateful for that. We have a couple more stats. I'd like to touch on Saquon Barkley, second straight week, Skip, of being co-freshman of the year of the week
for Big Ten.
Yeah. Very impressive. I'm thinking about my time, and I'm sure, Skip, you can attribute too. When my first year as a freshman, I redshirted. My second year, I got in against USC. We played a kickoff classic against USC in 2000, and I remember getting lifted by an offensive lineman on my first play, getting put on my back, and basically a welcome to the Big Ten. And, just to see Saquon be able to do what he's doing is tremendous. And I'd like to kind of share with you some of his statistics. This is the second week in a row he's been co-Big Ten freshman player of the week. And he shared the honor this week with Indiana safety Jonathan Crawford. And Barkley, his 195 yards rushing are the most by a Penn State true freshman since Eric McCool had 206 yards against Michigan in 1998. And also his performance was the second straight 100-yard rushing effort for his season this year, and that ranks with DJ Dozier from 1983 and also Eric McCool in 1998. So he's amongst the top 3 true freshman running backs to have 2 consecutive 100 yards rushing games.
It's been a while here at Penn State for that, and I remember Coach Franklin talking about getting back down to playing what he called blue-collar football and running the game, and Penn State brought the running game. And I'm so glad to see the guys up front making that happen. 2 touchdowns, the long run of 54 yards is outstanding for someone like that to be running out. And Akil Lynch had a great day too. 120 yards with a long of 75 and a touchdown. So on 10 carries. Akil is putting up great numbers there too, averaging 12 yards a carry. So these guys are moving that ball well, even after contact as well. And you know what? I misspoke on our kick returns. We're averaging 28.5 yards, which is very, very good, and our long of 34. So we'll break one here on that as well. And for extra points, that's expected. And our punting, averaging 41 yards is a good average, long of 52. So special teams is coming along as well. So here we are moving into another week of Penn State football, and we have a team flying a long way over 2,200 miles plus from San Diego to Penn State, and that'll be a big game this week as well. And I think Penn State's needed this confidence booster from Rutgers. I think this game will help the team out a lot in preparing to really get into that thick of that conference schedule that's kind of creeping up on everybody here sooner rather than later. So I'd always make fun a little bit and say, these cream puff schedules at the beginning of the season. Penn State needed it this year. They need it. They need it this year because they're still coming to that transition of the loss of scholarships, getting different guys recruited in here, and having guys step up into the spot. Because a lot of times people don't realize the full effects that now we're in the middle of it. So
definitely,
it's I can understand why they adjusted the schedule a little bit like that, but I look forward to the days when we can get back in there having a real tough schedule. I'd like to see some more non-conference rivalries that we had before, like Pitt and Notre Dame and some of these other schools that we had, West Virginia.
Definitely.
Those would be some great schools to have a comeback here with the play. And even pick up at Miami, because we picked up Miami on occasion.
Yeah.
USC comes in, we'll go out there. So, I'd like to see some of these other non-conference matchups that we had before, but we'll see what they can do. I mean, it's a long year already, not even including a potential playoff or a conference playoff or a bowl game. So it makes for a long season compared to what it was. Back in the day, it'd be 11 games in a bowl. Now we're at 12 games and a playoff and a bowl. And it becomes longer and longer and longer. Some of these teams out there, if you think about what some of these athletes have to go through, folks, especially like a team like Hawaii, where they have to fly everywhere for an away game. Sometimes they don't even bother going back. They spend that week practicing and going to school away from school.
Wow.
So those guys, that's one team. That's one team that is just, it's not easy. Now, it'd be a lot of fun to go there and play against them. Maybe especially at the end of the season, be like the last game to play there, because you could say, hey, coach, how about a couple of days afterwards, Be a good time. But those guys, that's a difficult, I couldn't imagine what their travel budget's like.
Oh, man.
They must, somebody must donate a jet or something. They got a special deal with JetBlue, right?
Yeah,
who knows? But for sure, that's one team, and that's making a long trip like that. And even this team from San Diego, this isn't just a hop, skip, and a jump. I'm sure they probably sent a tractor trailer at the beginning of the week to try to drive here with all their equipment and supplies. Penn State does that, and it's a lot of logistics that go behind the scenes for a football game. A lot of people never even notice or paying attention to, because they show up, they get their tickets, they go sit in the stands, they see the game and they go home. But it's those guys behind the scenes that really make a lot of football programs work. That they often don't get the pat in the back. And while we were here, of course, we had Spider who was doing that for us, and he did a great job. Tim Shope was here then. I think he retired some years after that. But Spider's always got some great stories, and we'll have to get him on here sometime.
Oh yeah. I actually ran into Spider today. It was a great time. Very thankful that he's back with us, because he was one of the originals that was around, and just bleeds blue and white all the way through. And he's always got his best interest for Penn State football. He
does, and he's a good man, a good character. So I knew the pastor of the church where he goes to, and it's a great family. He and his wife done a lot of good in the community as well. So, but it's good to have him back. I remember he's making those transitions, and I don't think anybody should ever retire, because we're made to work. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't think Penn State's football is anything he can ever give up.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's
Oh,
just
yeah.
it's his life. You know, and
Mhm.
it's great to be able to see him back here. Hopefully, get up there and catch maybe in the Letterman Lounge some weekend if he's up for a game.
Definitely.
You know, as we make some transitions here into looking ahead to next week, are there any other highlights, Jacob, that you can think of from this game that Penn State could take away that could maybe help them with the next?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm glad you mentioned that, Skip. And there was some that I would like to talk on the defensive side of the ball that I think, sets us apart and also gives us some momentum, some things that we can hold on to. Because being a high school football coach for 6 years, rebuilding and all the programs that I was in, it's always important to hold on to the positives and to build on those things. So I'd like to share a couple things that we have defensively. Through our first 3 games of this season, we ranked 4th in the nation and 2nd in the Big Ten with 10.3 tackles for loss per game. And we are 3rd in the nation and 2nd in the Big Ten Conference with 4.3 sacks per game after totaling 5 more against Rutgers. So that was another positive that we're showing that we're able to get pressure. Obviously, we haven't played, the powerhouses of the Big Ten yet, but it's always a good thing to build, just to build on the positives. And also, Penn State leads the nation in both tackle for loss of yardage with 159 and sack yardage with 115. And Nassib, he had a breakthrough. Senior defensive end was rewarded the Nittany Lions for putting him in the starting lineup he was a former walk-on, having a breakout season. Through his first 3 games, Nassib ranks in a tie for 3rd nationally in sacks per game, averaging 1.67 after picking up his team and the Big Ten leading 5th quarterback takedown against Rutgers. And he also ranks in ties for 5th nationally and 2nd in the conference with 2.3 tackles for loss per game. Another interesting stat, Skip, we average 5.33 3 and outs, which ranks for a tie at 9th in the country. So we have a lot of positives going along with our program. I like to give a lot of credit to Coach Franklin. I think he's doing a great job dealing with the circumstances that he's in. And I think we just have to, stay optimistic, stay positive on the season, and, just build off of these little positive gains that we're having. And hopefully that can carry us into the meat of the Big Ten.
Right. Well, get behind the coach, get behind the team, and support him, give him what he needs, and let him do his thing, man. I think we're going to be all right. I think Stefan just joined us. Stefan, are you there? Hey, great to join us. This is Stefan Davis online here, folks. We're just giving a little recap of the game. Stefan, I know you probably had some thoughts about last week's game. I believe you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you're right.
2 consecutive games. That's a great point.
That's a great way to put it, Stephanie. Yeah, we haven't seen this type football at Penn State where we just really effectively run the ball for some time. In fact, Stephen, I think back since it wasn't before, if I'm remembering your statistics, Jacob, since Penn State went to the spread offense. We were back still running the old I and pro formations, and that's the last time Penn State really went, as Coach Frank would say, blue collar football, just running right at the guys. And I'm personally glad to see it. I flip back and forth because I still like Georgia Tech, because those guys, that's a team just going to run at you all day long. And I love a ground game like that. Yeah, these guys they're just going to run at you all day. So I always like watching teams like Georgia Tech, and it was so great to be able to see Penn State, thinking, okay, we're going to run this ball at you until you can't stop us anymore, and then we're going to pass. So I think getting back to those basics, as Coach Franklin said, has definitely paying big dividends, and I think we're probably going to see much of the same again this week with San Diego. Yeah. Great. And we also mentioned, Stephen, too, about some of the special teams returns were looking good. Punts were looking better. So all around, Penn State has definitely, I think they're moving into the swing of the season here, getting into a routine, and I think it's just going to keep getting better. Hats off to Rutgers. I mean, they put together a good game. They fought hard too. Give them some credit. They did play without their head coach. Not that the head coach makes it all happen, but he's the go-to guy. He tries to motivate the players, helps with play calling. He coordinates the whole thing with all his staff. He was gone, and those other some of their key players gone. Hats off to Rutgers. They put up. They did the best they could with what they had, and gave us a good game. And thankfully, Penn State actually played better, surprisingly better than I personally anticipated. I thought it was going to be a much closer game than what it was. I didn't think Penn State was going to dominate in the ways it did. But of course, pleasantly to be surprised that they did as well as they have. And speaking of that, coming up next week here with the Aztecs coming here to Penn State, they're coming off a loss of 34-27 from South Alabama. So, their coaches, I'm sure, are trying to motivate them and get them ready to come into Beaver Stadium and say, hey, look, this team can be beat. All right. And they're going to be using that language saying, hey, Rutgers gave them a pretty good game and they didn't have everybody. They already have one loss. Okay, we're going to go in here and give them their next. And they're hungry for it because, they've lost 2 in a row. And this last one was kind of close. They did have one win earlier this season, but this is going to be a pivotal game for them coming in here because they don't want to be heading into a 1-3 loss scenario partway through the season.
Definitely, and I would just like to add, I think it was definitely a big improvement since we were on the show against Temple. I think it was good to see Penn State give us that cushion in our score where we felt like, hey, things are starting to show that we're improving. And I think that was a real big key, going into halftime up 21-0, says a lot. Obviously, like you said, Skip, Rutgers was down their head coach. They were down a lot of players, but at the same time, we're still trying to get our thing together. So I think it was definitely a good performance by the Nittany Lions. And, for that first 8 o'clock game, to see us get that win, only giving them 3 points, that was great. And we still got 2 more home games ahead of us, getting into our Big Ten, and we kind of ease our way in with Indiana. So, we things are starting to turn, We're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more confident about Penn State football.
Well, sometimes that loss is that one thing that actually motivates people into turning things around, and that maybe we've seen it. We're seeing it happen in other teams of college football. Alabama lost. We're seeing it with other teams, and it'll be interesting to see what teams do after they lose. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, here I think with Penn State, we're going to see where we've seen the positive come, and I think it's only going to keep getting better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stephen, you're.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Stephen, playing on the offensive line, we had that first game against Temple, 10 sacks, and then we go 2 games in a row with no sacks. How does that happen? How do we go from 10 to 0? And, what causes a sack? What prevents a sack? How do we go from 10 to 0, and how do we keep that thing going? Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Stefan. Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Lions Live on the Forever Lions radio network, the only network put by the players for the fans. Big dude Stefan Davis, Jacoby Israel. My name's Skip Drywalbus. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Are we off?
Stefan, can you hear us? Stefan, you still there? Stefan, you still there? Stefan, can you hear us?
Dear Maxwell, first off, hope you're well. And it seems like all you do is promote Geico's web navigability. And while I really enjoyed your last commercial where you talked about how I could take photos
What's that?
video
Nothing
for an
from
ad
Mike yet.
all via
Huh?
Geico.
Nothing from Haynes.
I think it doesn't
Yeah,
make
no, nothing
sense
yet,
for
no.
a fan.
Yeah, I thought I heard a noise, but that wasn't him calling.
No, you'll hear like a ding.
And this guy was supposed to be.
I heard a ding, but I
That was
don't.
Stefan calling.
I thought I heard another.
Just a tap away on the Geico app.
And we're actually back here at Lions Live, folks, the only network built by the players for the fans. Big dude Stefan Davis, Jacoby Israel. My name's Skip Drywalbus. Talking Penn State football here. Give a little recap of Penn State's game against Rutgers last week. Looking ahead here to our week with San Diego. So we've been giving a little bit of recap. We're expecting a special guest here, but, you know, and former players' lives and guys who played in the NFL, they've got a lot of things going on. So it's great to try to schedule guys, but sometimes, Jacob, it's just hard to get these guys on here because conflicts of things come up. So, but we're working on getting him on here. So we're standing by for a call to come in, folks, here from Michael Hayes. So hopefully that'll be happening here soon. Oh, is he? Oh, he's here. He's here, Jacob. Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, he made us. All right.
Big Mike.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Well, I'm sure you have plenty of comments here and some great stories to share with us here. My name's Skip and Big Dude Stefan Davis, and of course you know Jacob here already. So we look forward to hearing some stories from the past here and hearing your thoughts about the current Penn State football team and as we look ahead here to the coming weeks. So welcome aboard. This is the unique part about Lions Live, Michael, is it's an open mic here. This Magnum Broadcasting had the foresight to say, hey, we want to have a only player hosted program, and we're thankful to be here to make that happen. But the microphones are open for you and any former player at any time who wants to jump on in here. You don't have to be here at the studios to be a part of the show. The great part about technology today is we can stream the show over the internet. You can hop on a telephone, and just like that, you're live. So we're not a podcast, and we're not pre-recorded. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the great one here, Michael Hayes, live. So we look forward to hearing from you, my friend.
Hey, Mike, I just want to thank you for joining us, man. We go back to the gridiron. Had some times together, man. Playing for Joe Pa, and so tell us a little bit about your high school experience and how did you get to Penn State? Why did you choose Penn State? Okay. Okay. Mhm. Wow. So how did Joe Pa come into the scenario? What did how was he involved, or how did your time meeting Joe Pa, what was all that about? Wow. Mm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Penn State being an ag science school. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so great point. Okay, so you get to Penn State. I mean, you end up being a first round draft pick for the Chicago Bears. Now, how did that even? I mean, was when you got? When did you feel like that? Did you ever feel you could be a first round pick, or what? How did all that happen? I mean, obviously you had a remarkable career at Penn State, but I mean, a first round pick that is a big thing. Tell us how all that went. I remember that.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. So you came as a fullback, and then when did you become a defensive end? Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. So you got with
Johnson. Now, did you play defensive end from the start, or did you start at nose or tackle? Or
No, no. I actually,
Mhm. Yeah. Mike, speak up just a little bit more. Mike, speak up just a little bit more. Definitely. Mm-hmm. 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 Definitely. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, I see. I see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is wonderful. No, you're right, Mike, and I agree, man. Coach Johnson was, he amazing, just amazing. I mean, I just think about even when we were there, how many defensive linemen went into the NFL playing for Coach Johnson. It's just just a bunch of guys. So. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Definitely. That's a great point. So tell us a little bit about maybe a memory from Joe Pye. Joe Pye is a classic guy. We all know he was the greatest coach of football. But you work with him day in and day out. You seen some ups and downs. I was there with you too. So tell us something about Joe. Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You was all business, man. You was, all muscle, all business. Mm. Yeah, definitely. No, that's a great point. That's a great point. Mm-hmm. And that's a great point, Mike, because we had Boyd last week, and he also said he felt Joe taught us more than just football, and like you said, preparing us for life after football. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely.
Well, I had a couple of questions for
Yeah,
you, Michael.
Jordan is-
I was just wondering the transition from college to NFL. A lot of people probably can't imagine what that's like, and I was just wondering the biggest difference that you noticed between the two. What would you say stands out the most in your mind?
Mhm. Wow. Mhm. Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, and what makes me wonder now as you transition into the NFL like that. I think your game probably takes another dynamic where you are now wanting to play smarter instead of harder because there's only so much size and strength a man could bring to the game, but that added dimension of really becoming a student of it and making it a chess game at the same time with your body, I'm sure is a dynamic most people don't think about at the college level as well. I can't say that I don't know, but I'm wondering if there's you maybe touch upon that and see if there's any truth to that.
Yes. Wow.
See, he knows you. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Wow.
Whoa. Wow, that's
Wow.
down and dirty, man. That is down and dirty.
So do you think they?
Oh man.
So do you think they knew about Brady at the Patriots? Was that in the scouting reports that he was deflating the balls, or what are your thoughts on that?
man, no.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, do you really think it's going to make that big a difference?
That's a good point. Stephen, what? Jump on in. What you got for Mr. Haynes?
Well, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Wow. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Oh, wow.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Ladies and
Wow. Wow. Mm. Wow. And Mike, who was your coach for the Bears? Oh, okay. And were there any other Penn Staters that you played with on the Bears? Okay. That's right, Gilmore. That's right. That's right. Wow. Wow, that's neat.
yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the fastest hour on radio. We're probably down to our last 5 minutes. We want to go through our picks here with Michael. And of course, it doesn't mean that the show ends, folks. You can tune in on lionslive.com. We have the After the Show show where we talk a little bit more. And you can only catch that on lionslive.com. We're streaming there as well. So we're going to transition into some picks here, Michael, and you can chime in with us here. We try to go down through the Big Ten schedule here. And looking at this week here, we starting off with Illinois. We have Illinois and Middle Tennessee State.
We put you first, Mike. You got to pick the game.
Okay.
I can buy that. I can buy
I'm with you
that.
on that one. Stefan, you with that?
Whew.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Whoa! I know they said you big dude, but that's a big upset right there.
Okay.
No, I like that.
Hey,
Yeah.
shake and bake. All right. Here we got Iowa and North Texas. Yeah. Well, there we go. Anybody else say anything other than Iowa? The consensus on that one. And we got Minnesota and Ohio. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we're all together on that one too. We got now this one will be interesting. Nebraska and Southern Miss. Oh, okay. Okay. Anybody not agree with that one? We're all together
sounds
now.
good. Sounds good.
We'll try to breeze through some more of these here quick in the next couple minutes here. We have Northwestern and Ball State. Anybody say anything different than Northwestern? Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go. We got Purdue and Bowling Green.
Mm.
Okay, we'll try to break this out here in the next minute. We'll run through these. We got Wisconsin, Hawaii. Anybody say anything different than Wisconsin? Okay, Indiana, Wake Forest.
Wow, that could be.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's a good point, Mike. You right next door, so you got the inside scoop.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're gonna have to take a quick legal ID break, folks, and we'll be right back here after another message, quick, and we'll wrap this up with our picks. You're listening to Lions Live on the Forever Lions Radio Network. I didn't hear that stuff. I have our mics turned off, so we're okay.
Yeah, sound like. I hope he's loud enough. I'm trying to hear him, but I hope it was. Sounds like Boyd was a little louder. But
Yeah, hopefully it comes through.
I'm hoping it comes through. So they can hear us live.
Not right now.
I mean, like when Mike was on, they can hear that. Oh, good.
Yeah, I was trying to watch over here for this.
Good. That's good. Yeah, I'm glad he called in, though. I'm glad.
Huh?
No, I was just saying I was glad he called.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
You know, he was an unsung hero. I mean, first round pick. Came in as a fullback.
The countdown on this one. I don't see it on the computer here.
Yeah, that album was fast, but man.
Hey, friends, welcome back to Lions Live, the only network built by the players to the fans. Michael Haynes, Big Dude Stephen Davis, the Cove. My name's Skip, and we're back here. We just came back out of a break, gentlemen, and we're coming back here. The fastest hour in college football here with Michael Haynes, Big Dude Stephen Davis, your Cove. My name's Skip, and we're talking some picks here. We'll try to wrap up this up here for another week, and we'll do the after the show. We can keep sharing a few things, but while we're still live on air here on radio, we want to wrap up our picks here and a couple comments yet. We were talking Wake Forest, Indiana, was where we last left off. I don't think we got a picks in on that one yet.
Mike's up first.
Oh, okay. I like that pick. It's at Wake Forest. I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Okay,
I got Wake Forest for that one.
We got Maryland at West Virginia. That should be a nice game there. They are. It's at West Virginia, and they don't have a kickoff time for TV yet. They're still waiting to find a time for that game. That's what's showing up on the schedule here. So I'd have to go back and take a look and see if they've announced yet on the schedule I'm looking at here. It doesn't give me that. And again, I don't know how fast the Big Ten has been updating this. So I'm just operating on what we got here. We next have Michigan and BYU. That'll be an interesting game. I know I want Michigan to win.
I want to hear Mr. Haynes. Let's put him on the spot. Let's see what he got to say.
Oh, okay. Okay, Stephen, what do you think? Okay. What do you think, Eko?
I mean, I think Harbaugh just brings that little twang into the scenario, and it's hard to overlook him. You know, I'm gonna go with Michigan.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Stephen Davis. Had to step out here with us. We're still broadcasting live here on radio with the Cove and Michael Haynes here, and I'm with you on that one with Michigan. I think come up with a win on that one. And of course, then we have, I think everybody will agree with this one. It's Michigan State and Central Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. You go?
No, I agree with you, Mike. I mean, Michigan State, nice game against Oregon. You know, they upset Ohio State the year prior. I mean, they got a strong. You know, this is not, you know, just a stroll in the park for them.
Well, there's always been that, well, I call it the Michigan curse here at Penn State.
Mhm.
They have always given us headaches, man.
Mhm.
Both Michigans, they give us headaches year in and year out. So, but I think Michigan State's going to win this one. And of course, speaking of the Michigan teams, we have the Broncos playing Ohio State, playing the Buckeyes. What do you think about that one? I think that's pretty much a no-brainer for Ohio State. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh yeah. And then we have Rutgers coming off the loss from Penn State. Going to be with Kansas. That's a tough pick.
Yeah.
It's a tough pick. Yeah. Right. Well, okay. Well, flip a coin.
I'm gonna say Rutgers is just banged up, beat up.
Yeah.
Coach is out for 3 games. I'm gonna go with Kansas.
Okay, good call. Yeah, I think it'd be a close one with them. And of course, then the last of the ones we see, we have Penn State and San Diego. Michael, what are your thoughts heading into this game for Penn State? What do they need to do the most here to win this one?
Mm-hmm. That's a great point.
Interesting.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. So let me ask you this, because you played D-line, you was #1 pick for the Bears. First, you were 14th pick, right?
Overall. Yeah, he was.
14th pick in overall draft. Now, Penn State's offensive line, they gave up 10 sacks against Temple. Why does the offensive line give up sacks, and what's the best way to prevent an offense from giving sacks? Like what? Wow. Mm-hmm. That's true. I don't think he's ran the ball yet for plus 10 yards.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, we talked about that, Michael.
Yep.
Right, Michael. We talked about that here in the past couple of weeks. The point was made that the style offense that Penn State's running right now is not a good fit for him. It's just not going to work well for him here at Penn State, and that's just unfortunately I think the way it's going to go. Penn State's going to change their offense, and he's not going to change it. Physically, he's not going to change the type of person that he is either. So there's going to be that weakness, I think, in that one-dimensional aspect, like you said. The Penn State offense and until he either goes to the NFL or Penn State changes their offensive scheme, and those two just aren't going to happen. Well, I mean, he'll leave. Oh, he's gone. I don't blame him. Right. Yeah, and you know, it's hurting him in the draft as this year goes along. I think he came in looking this year solid. He came in as a freshman looking great under that type of style offense with Coach O'Brien, but you can see when he gets out of his mold, I guess, his comfort zone like that, playing a different offense, it's not a good mix, you know. Now, you know, you played in the NFL. If you're a coach out there and you see a guy like Hackenberg, a lot of talent, a lot of skills, but you know, you're not getting to see his resume develop much here at Penn State because of the type of offense they play. Are you gonna, you know, it's obviously going to affect his pick in the draft. So, you know, what do you think about that? What's he facing? Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And you know, Michael, we need to sign off on the radio side, and I'm just going to make this transition, folks. You're listening on radio out there, switch over to lineslive.com because there's not going to be any breaks at all. We're going to be streaming out there live. We're going to get you back to the regularly scheduled program here on the AM side of the radio here. You've been listening to Lions Live with Michael Haynes, Big Dude Stephen Davis, Jacob. My name's Skip, and we're thankful you could join us tonight. Join us again next week on Lions Live. You know, never for the players, for the fans. Have a great night, and Lord bless. Okay, and you know, Michael, you still there? Michael, are you still there? Let me adjust this so we can have you on, where we can hear him.
Yeah, I got a couple. I want to ask him a couple more questions.
Okay, Michael, are you still there? We're trying to get this off our phones.
If you scream big or loud enough, you don't have the conversation.
Where's this at? I'm trying to get him on the. Michael, can you hear us now? Michael, are you there? Michael, can you hear us? Let's see here, external. Michael, can you hear us now? Hopefully you can hear us. Let's see.
Stay on, Mike.
Hey, Michael, stay there if you can. Hello. Let's see if Michael, you're there. The radio side working, right?
Nonsense to pretend.
Yeah, I think he's probably still on.
I'm pretty sure he's still there. I just need to get this rubber.
If he's not, we can probably.
I hear him. Michael, are you there? I can actually hear him.
Oh,
Michael, you still there?
Yeah, hang on, Mike. Hang on. We're gonna do.
Maybe text him. Oh, I don't know if you can text him while I'm trying to get this technical side down here. Michael, are you still there? Michael, can you hear us? Let's see. Michael, can you still hear us? Michael, can you hear us? Hey, Michael, are you there?
Yeah, he probably still on.
Let's see. Michael, I can hear him still online there. I'm not sure if he can hear us. Michael, are you still there? Hey, Michael, are you there? Michael, yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, I think he's still on.
Okay, I don't know if he's
now
here.
we can wrap.
Oh, wait, here. Hey, Michael, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, yeah, there we go. He
great,
wasn't here.
great.
Okay, we're back here.
Yes, you can.
Okay, cool. Let me try to do this. You can still hear us now still?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. I'm still learning the buttons here to push on in the station here without trying to blow things up too bad. So I think we finally got it straightened out here as well. So thank you for sticking with us, folks. Joining us on the After the Show. You can see us streaming here at lionslive.com. Michael Haynes and Big Dude Stephen Davis had to sign off for the night in the Cove. Yisrael, my name is Skip Drabble, and we're talking Penn State football here. And bring us back in here to where we were talking, Cove. We were touching on the offense. And Michael, you were giving some of the most obvious notables regarding draft and things that make Penn State kind of one-dimensional right now in the quarterback scenario. Where do you think you'll end up going in the draft?
Man, I'd say I think you'll still be a third to fourth round pick.
So third or fourth time?
I think Beckman was going to right. He's pretty accurate. He's more of a traditional right? Or even out of the gun.
Okay. So this is something I've thought for the longest time. I can't help but think that because Coach O'Brien got into Penn State, Coach O'Brien's going to need a quarterback in Texas. And I'm wondering, I don't know if you catch the news, but I noticed an interesting article in the Wall Street Journal here about last week sometime about how NFL quarterbacks are not the guys coming out of college really aren't groomed for the NFL because of the type of offenses colleges are running now. They're not really taught. It takes several years in the NFL to kind of groom a guy to come into that type of an offense. And it makes me think that, even if he doesn't have the greatest season here at Penn State this year, that I think Coach O'Brien may want to pick him up as well as somebody for his program. But if he doesn't go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you look at the NFL, the quarterback is the only position where they groom. You know, like that in any other sport. If by year two you don't figure it out, you're out.
I agree.
Knowing that that's the way it works. You have to realize what's his strength. Right? At the end of the day, you're going to need tight end support. Right? Because that, I think, is where it's most protection. Right? Obviously, it has to be a decent game. Not even a great run game. Just a decent run game and some tight ends because his play fake can be pretty good. Right? But you got to have the run game, and it has to be a downhill running center. Right? You get those linebackers to take those step or two forward to be able to get the tight ends and be able to get the short intermediate passes in there. Because right now, that's really what we're lacking. Right? You can back me up. Right? Linebackers may not think so.
No, that's a great point. And I wanted to ask you, Mike, we're talking about Hackenberg potentially going to NFL. We said earlier, you were a first-round pick, 14th pick overall in the draft. What was that like? Did you know you were going to be a first-round 14th pick, or what were you? How did you thought all that was going to play out?
Yeah, you know what? Surprisingly, originally I thought I was going to go to Philadelphia. Right, because Philadelphia was traded up, and I was talking to them on the phone, and they were like, "Yeah, they're going to trade up to catch you." Right, so I was actually on the phone with them when the Bears drafted.
Wow.
So that was one of those awkward conversations I ever had.
Say, hey, I'm sorry, I just saw myself go on TV. What did the coach say? Okay, congratulations, and that was.
Yeah, literally. Like,
Wow. Wow, that's pretty wild.
That's neat.
Amazing.
That's neat.
Right? I think that's one thing, once the draft starts, you never know what's going to happen.
I can't imagine. I mean, that's an awesome experience, for you to have dreams come true like this in your life must have been an amazing experience. And being able to share it like this with people, I think is even more incredible because, so many people don't know the person behind the player. They don't know who they are. They don't know what really this whole experience is like until guys like yourself can come here and share with people like this. So I personally want to thank you very much again for giving people insight to the game that they don't normally ever get. You know, this is what's really the cool thing about this whole idea of Lions Live was they really give some fans an insight to football, and Penn State football in particular, obviously, that they would never have before. And it's so cool to have guys like yourself be able to come in and share this. It's really incredible, and I personally can't thank you enough for coming on here tonight like you have. And not that means we're wrapping up here at all, because we are after the show, so we have some time here. But I wanted to ask you some questions. You know, in your time at Penn State, you know, there's always guys getting at Joe's doghouse. There's always those unmentionables that we've all experienced while we're here. I'm wondering if you could maybe share some things that stand out in your mind over the 4 years you've had here that just kind of blew you away.
You know, it's really funny because I actually became kind of a watchdog for our group, right? So anytime they would really, I knew a lot of the guys and some of the issues that they were having, right? Because that was just kind of my role. So part of our leadership is truly being a leader. Sometimes you have to deal with things that nobody wants to deal with. Mm-hmm. Right? So that was me. Oh, yeah, I get phone call if we're arguing.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So that was always me. Hey, so-and-so struggling in class, we go talk. Hey, so-and-so's having this issue or that issue. So that was always me. I was always behind the scenes. And sometimes, you know, nobody really thought about it. So some guys would get annoyed with me. Oh, Mike's always picking his nose and things. But yeah, because if I wasn't doing it, something that was happening.
Yeah, well, better your nose than somebody else's foot, right? Right? I mean, think about it. You know, better a nose from you than somebody else's foot.
It took 2 years to kind of figure out, you know, the kind of the lay of the land. But for those last 3 years, right? I mean, some of the guys that really got to know me that ever needed something from me, like the loyalty factor was just there, right? So we knew that it didn't matter to me what they did. It's my job to try to get them out of trouble, right? I wouldn't judge. It's what it is.
Mm-hmm. You're trying to navigate through the.
That's really what I prided myself on.
Yeah,
like I said, even my current job now, like I still do.
Navigating through the choppy waters.
Yeah, and I wanted to give you an opportunity, Mike, because you do a lot of giving back to the youth. You know, you're involved with high schools. You know, trying to help kids get to the level you were at. You know, I just wanted to give you an opportunity just to kind of share with us, share with some of the people in State College, you know, some of the things that you're doing to give back and help kids learn the proper ways to play football and, you know, potentially have a chance to play at a Penn State or, you know, even make it to the NFL.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So, you know, after I retired, I actually got into education. Right? So I taught in North Carolina and coached North Carolina, moved to Texas, right? Went to a grad school, right? And I'm going to finish my second master's. Got my doctorate in 2016. I've been real busy.
Wow.
But currently I work for USA Football. Right? So Heads Up Football is one of our flagship programs, and I'm the manager of that. Right? So
That's
working
awesome.
with coaches across the world, actually, from really collegiate level down. Right? So we work with Division II schools. We do some stuff at Northwestern. Right, and we're just working on like how do you learn how to coach at the high school level, right, or the youth level, right? There is no training class, so that's one of the process of creating.
That's fantastic.
And
It's really unique. I mean, we do last year. We were doing a 2015 recap, and we did 390 events last year.
wow.
Right? 300 of them between the months of June and August.
So
Including trips to South Korea, Japan, Mexico, Prague, no, Bulgaria.
wow. So you guys are coaching football in Bulgaria.
Yeah, believe it or not, like, there's about 50 countries that do football.
Wow.
That's amazing. You know, I'm talking,
Wow.
about, talking about World Football League, man. There you go.
And we also work with the women's side. So there's about
Wow.
That'd be interesting.
yeah, I'm actually sending a coaching staff down to Australia probably next summer to go work with their national team.
Wow, that's incredible. You know, this is something that's always been on my mind. I'd love to see. I always love to see these other leagues emerge. Whether you know what it be, even arena football or these other startups and spin-offs, because you know, there's some things I just flat out don't like about the NFL, and it's just a lack of opportunity out there from the way, because there's so much talent in this country alone, just this country alone. And for the monopolistic type of practices and things they have going on here, where nobody else, that has that opportunity to actually, make it even an income in any type of aspect of this sport that everybody loves, that can be played anywhere year round now. It frustrates me at the NFL. I'm just my personal opinion. I really. Yeah.
Very good. But I want you to think of it this way. If you see this positive, and the minor system is college.
It is.
That's really what college is.
It is.
Have a minor league system.
Oh, I agree with you. But I'm saying, why not another league? I mean, in the United States here, look at the indoor facilities we have already, and the ability to play spring league or summer league. It's America's sport. I mean, hey, I grew up playing baseball too, and baseball, the pastime, has passed itself by. I mean, baseball is a fun, good sport, but football has become America's sport. And I'd just like to see those opportunities for people to play the sport. I was a big fan of the USFL back when it first came out. I thought it was great. Now, the problem is Donald Trump got involved and he ended up getting $1 out of the lawsuit because of his ego. His ego just too much, man. We see it all the time.
I honestly think that the NFL originally was trying to combine the system with NFL Europe.
Yeah.
But then they realized that there really isn't a point. Because as you said, quarterbacks is one position that you really need to develop. They put off expanding the practice squad somebody else that way.
Well, sure.
Kind of what they've done. But if you were to create a spring system that is truly separate, and you do not treat it as a minor league in the NFL, but just truly spring football, then that would definitely pick up.
That'd be
You
great.
need to use existing NFL facilities. So make sure the idea of some person who said, hey, I want to run a minor league football game, it's too expensive.
Sure. Sure. Well, it's interesting. The arena ball has never gone away, and there's obviously some type of viable business aspect to that. And I think the USFL was it didn't not at first, but it did become viable until Trump got involved, and it was starting to turn itself into a viable option for fans out there. Just a different time of year. That they put a lot of money, but they got some big name guys there, Herschel Walker and some guys out of Penn State as well. I still remember the Generals and different teams out there, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great to be able to see football in the spring and summer like that. And I'd like to see an alternative, and it's professional sports, so I'd just like to see an opportunity for. You think about entertainment industry. It's a great sport. People love to play it. There's talent out there to do it. If you're talking about job creation, well, there you go. You got to have some guys selling the hot dogs and Cokes in the summer instead of the hot chocolate in the winter. So it gives people jobs.
I agree. I think the arena football aspect would be the way to go because
Okay.
it's so fan friendly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
So
it
think
is.
about it. You can take your family of 4, family of 5 to a arena football game, right? And you are not going to go 4.
That's right. It's affordable. But that's what television does also. So
That's a good point.
even if it went to like a regular football, instead of just a 50-yard indoor war,
Yeah.
it's still a viable, again, that viability of options for jobs and people to play the sport. I think it's great. It may not be taken off at first, but again, I think they saw the USFL could work if we just have somebody. I don't mean to bust on Donald Trump. I know he's running for president and all that stuff, but I don't get me wrong. I'm not in favor of the lady who ran 2 companies into the ground either. When it gets into politics, she ran 2 companies into the ground. I understand Donald's point about it, and Donald may be a really good businessman, but he's got to admit he blew it with the USFL. Not talking politics, folks.
Pure Tuesday football, just having contact with certain executives. It's really whatever league comes up, understanding their place. So do not try to take on the NFL. Do not try to take on college, right? So you don't want anything in the spring. You don't want anything in the bowl series, in the bowl time. But even to the college now, right? A lot of the spring games are getting 50,000 people.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So the question becomes now is, 10 years from now, is college football going to kind of expand their realm in springtime?
Well, that's a good question. But you run into those issues of academics. I mean, we can admit that college football today is big business, and anybody who doesn't want to admit that, I think, is missing it, because it is about the money. From the ground up, it's about the money. Once you get to the Division I level, because I've coached kids myself, and they say, well, how do I get a scholarship? What I got to do? I said, look, my advice to you is go where they give you the money. If they put money on you as an athlete to play at a college or school, you will play there. I've coached several guys who had the talent but didn't have the money, and I knew the kid who got the scholarship the year before, coached him before he even got to the college level, and I said, you're a better kicker or punter, but you know what? You're never going to play here because they got the money on this guy. And that's the way it is at the Division I level. It's business. I know it's supposed to be academics, but it's business. Whatever change, the NCAA tries to be pure and try to keep it all about academics and not about the money. Who are they kidding? I mean, come on, man.
Let's take an actually, we have this discussion all the time in my office. With other entities like AAA and a couple of other powerful organizations, and this is what they say: would the kid have gotten into the school if it wasn't for football? I mean, that's kind of one of their sticking points, right? And obviously, it's a little different because their standards are higher than all of us. But look at Miami.
Oh yeah.
University of Florida. Will those guys be getting in?
Alabama, yeah.
Alabama, Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think they still got basket weaving majors out there to school, but.
Oh no!
Would you get in?
Yeah.
For a lot of times, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Right. So if you switch to treating them more like, hey, we're going to pay you, like a pay to play.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're going to treat it like NFL, where you got hurt, you're done. Oh, you had a bad season. We're going to clear the roster for your kids.
Yeah, no.
Right?
No. I can appreciate that point, but I think you have to keep the academic, athletic type aspect to it. But I think the population, and as you're saying, we've seen it in the spring. I think with the talent of guys who don't make it in the NFL, the numbers of athletes that are out there, I think the population and everything would easily support having another league. These guys may not make the same amount of money as they make in the NFL, but they're still getting a paycheck. The coaches, the people selling the hot dogs in the stands, the fans, affordability to be able to take a family on a summer day to a football game. I think feasibility-wise in this country, it could work. Now, my concern would be the NFL trying to stifle it because of them feeling it's somehow going to hurt their piece of the pie. But I don't see that happening. I don't think that's ever going to happen because nobody can start another league and go against them at the same time of year they do. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to work. But something in the spring, I think somebody, companies get together, put something together. I think it could work like USFL did.
I would have to agree, and it's really looking right. It's looking at the salary.
Yeah.
Right? So, for example, if you're at the, hey, I'm a quarterback, and $100,000 on a quarterback, right? $80,000 here. But, it just has to be good enough to where it's worth it. Right? I think
Sure.
some of the leagues that started getting a little too big, brought the quarterback to making $250, and the next closest person was making $30.
Right.
Right. And also, you have to forget this. Right? I'm going to go get a job. So you have to make it financially worth it. You got to make sure that your top players aren't making, that much. So otherwise, it's going to hurt you.
Right. Well, and I think the free market forces will dictate a lot of that. I mean, here's a kid graduating college. You want to play football for a few years and maybe make, $75,000-$100,000 a year as an offensive lineman. Is it worth your time to do that, or do you want to just step right into the business side? You're right. There's a business dynamic, but I think the free market forces, I think, will help. If you let the laissez-faire approach, let the market decide how it'll work out. Taking some of your code's business side of things here, I think that'd be it'll settle itself. I think there's disparities. I think will fix themselves over time, because if somebody is that good, ouch! Oh man, I got a cramp. I think if somebody's that good, they're not going. The NFL's going to take them anyway. So, that's.
Here's interesting, right? So if you look at a lot of the leagues, right, skill players is really what causes those leagues to struggle, because nobody wants to watch bad football.
Right.
Right. So sometimes, like, the better quarterbacks will be taken, and all of a sudden you're looking at quarterbacks, you're like, he's making bad decisions. I don't know what this is bad football. So you're right. So there is that line. You got to recruit appropriately. You got to have good marketing behind you. You have a great marketing department.
Absolutely. And I saw there was Chuck Fusina that went to Philadelphia out of Penn State back when the USFL started. This probably back before you guys were born, right? I remember, but that's okay. My 30 years coming up here, so to me, I remember this stuff like it was yesterday. So you guys are thinking, what USFL? Well, I never heard of it. I've got an ESPN highlight about it. Some special they ran about it. Yeah, I remember these days. And they, when they started out strong, and they're paying some big money to some athletes to forego the NFL to come over to them. Herschel Walker was one of them. I remember that. So it'll be interesting. I think the market, the free market forces out there. If that would have been left alone, and they were going to get a huge award if Donald Trump kept out of it with the antitrust. I think that could have been something that probably to this day still could have been viable if that had been a little bit different. But that $1 award, that broke the bank, and that was at the end of that. But who knows? We all love football. We all want to see more of it. And I was just curious about your thoughts, because on your end, do you see this is your livelihood? You see this in the business side, coaching side, and I just wondered if you had some insights to any of this. You mentioned you talk with some executives and some very large companies. Is there any rumblings or anything out there of something like this possibly being able to take off?
It's really interesting when you just look at, it's always more complicated, right? It's not just coming up with a team, right? You have to look, okay, practice facilities, games, and really like the stadium. Where are you going to play, right? Because at the end of the day, like, you want to be in the big market, right? So, for example, picking Chicago, right? So besides Northwestern and right and the Bears Stadium, where else would you play, right? Nobody wants to pay to build a stadium. So now you have to, no matter what, you still have to go to the NFL to say, hey, can we use your stadium?
Well, now that's an interesting point you bring up, because, a lot of these colleges, even smaller colleges, have some decent facilities to start out with, and it becomes a dollar and cents equation for them, because a lot of these smaller colleges, I'm thinking even here in central Pennsylvania, just across the mountain or two different places, they may not have huge big stands there, but, they're happy for a few extra greenbacks coming in on a Saturday for or a Monday night.
We love the greenbacks. You got that right.
And they don't have. Listen, Penn State.
But I know what you mean, though.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting to see how that could come together, because some of these smaller Division I schools have some nice stadiums, and you may not have the huge numbers as far as 100,000 seating, but let's face it, how many times are you going to sell out like it? You don't need that big a venue. But some of these smaller schools don't have a summer camp program like Penn State has, where every week there's thousands of kids coming here for a sports camp. Penn State obviously wouldn't be a place for it. But you never know. Again, it's this stadium up here. If the money in dollars and cents there, you're talking TV networks and ESPN and Fox and CBS and ABC, NBC. They all got some money, and they know the money out there for advertising for football is big money. When you're paying $2 million for a 30-second commercial for the Super Bowl, there's going to be some money out there for people who still want to watch that TV in the summer. Out there, so I think it'd be great. I'd love to see it. If whatever you can do in your end, I'm behind you.
well, I just like to jump in because I think it's a great thought and a great topic. I think my biggest concern is the way things are going now. Is there really a need for this? That would be my biggest concern, because I think that the idea is great. I think, like you said, Skip, football is America's sport, but the NFL, they're looking at the money, they're looking at the bottom line. They're saying our profits are up, our things are going good. We got this college system that we're working. Is the NFL really looking for another avenue to get players?
Well, they aren't. They don't want nothing with it, no, because they can capitalize now. They got a monopoly on it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm talking about the free enterprise system and somebody jumping in.
Yeah, I think on that scale, I think, and I just wonder if the NFL would truly be looking to put the time into.
We don't want the NFL to be part of it.
Yeah, what I think that would be, that would be the main point. Is just
before with the USFL, they didn't have anything to do with the NFL. They had their own football. Again, it's like arena. They had their own design of the football. The rules were a little bit different. They tweaked them a little bit. Some of the old school stuff, which I like. Getting back to the old way of playing football instead of this two-hand touch stuff. I mean, we got to be concerned about health, okay? But it's a violent contact sport. I like being able to see guys go across the middle and get lit up. That's part of the game, man. Go back to playing the old smash mouth football, but there's some cool aspects you can do about that. But
I agree.
Totally separate would be great. And I think there's plenty of corporations that put a conglomerate together and possibly do something like this if they have some extra money out there they don't want to pay in dividends.
Hey, now you're talking, Skip. I like those names right there. I like that.
You're in the financial business.
There you go.
So in your conversations, Michael, do you see any feasibility of anything like that emerging?
I'll see. I think no matter what happens, honestly, comes from the NFL, because I think that if the NFL created a spring league, that would sell.
Sure. That would be interesting to see. That would be interesting.
Football sells.
I never thought about that.
Like, for example, is the Saints. The Saints own what do they own? They own the Saints and they own the Voodoo, right? And they share like a compound. Right, so as you drive in, to the left of the Saints and to the right of the Voodoo. So if the NFL owner decides, what, this is something that we want to do, not to compete with the NFL, but just as an additional revenue, what exactly are you changing? You already have the facility. You already have the stadium. Which is the most expensive part. Now it's just creating another practice facility, which really, the grand scheme of things, is not that expensive.
No, and even a lot of these, and even not to be funny, these high schools now, with some of the facilities they have with the field turf, if somebody wanted to start this in a low-scale way, I think even taxpayers in those areas would be happy to have some money coming in to have another pro football team be able to use their school as practice facilities, or even their game facilities. Where again, I just want to see somebody out there offering some type of competition to the NFL. It's not where the NFL doesn't have their hand in the pot. You know, I love competition, and it makes America great. And having a monopoly on things doesn't. The only people who really suffer the people who really don't have those opportunities to get out there to the games because they can't afford it. You know, it's like you said, Mike.
I totally agree.
You know,
That's something that, is a little concern for some NFL people, right? It's sooner or later you're going to price yourself out of the market, right? So sooner or later somebody is going to create a model, but it's looking at, other markets, Oklahoma City as an example. You see what I mean? It's picking the right locations to run a spring league that they would love to have a football.
Demographics, all that would come together.
And I just like to add, Mike. I mean, I'm just enjoying this intellect and this perspective. I mean, I'm just picturing this man. I was telling Skip, you had the little mini fro back in the day, and I remember my freshman year, hearing you talk. Like you said, you was playing fullback. You go from to the first round pick, and I mean, it's a privilege, man. So I just thank you for coming on, and I've learned a lot, and it's just great hearing your perspective, man. You really have and I hope you stick with, helping the younger people, helping the things like you're doing, man. We really appreciate it.
Well, I can't thank you enough too, Michael. This is just phenomenal, this insight you can give to people out here listening, and
we got to get you back on again, Mike.
And in fact,
definitely, man.
Yeah.
Whenever you guys want.
Yeah.
Hey, every week we do this.
Yeah, we gonna keep in touch on that.
Yeah, every week we're doing this here during the season and different times during the spring and summer. And the beauty of this thing is, again, it's an open microphone. Any former player who wants to come in and help, host a show, put it together. We're just a couple guys here trying to get on the front, get it started, and let this thing kind of run itself. And we're thankful for Magnum Broadcasting here for having the vision and insight, saying, hey, who can better talk about the game than the guys who played it? And then this is something that sports writers and the people who normally listen to things on radio or television, they may look nice and they may get to talk the talk and then be English majors and can pronounce things better than we can. But you know what? They didn't play it, and they don't get those insights like you're hearing here.
Right.
It's really cool. It's a lot of fun, Michael. And I can't thank you enough. And the microphone's always open here, so anytime you want to just host the show, before you know it, we'll be on here and say, hey, friends, this is Michael Hayes. Thanks for joining Lions Live here tonight, and you'll be introducing guests and running this show, man. So it'll be awesome.
Yep.
All right, guys. Yeah, I mean, definitely thank you so much. It's fun to get out to talk sport. I love it.
That is a lot of fun, Mike. Well, I can't thank you enough. And any parting words or comments to the folks out there watching online?
Definitely. Just being able to talk to people and just share like what I'm doing, and just give you guys insight. By all means, I don't know how we can get questions from people. But clearly, if anybody has questions that they want me to answer, I'll happily answer the best of my ability. So I really look forward to coming back on.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, people can do that if you're out there watching, folks. LionsLive.com. Reach us out through the website and also through our Facebook page. It's all linked up there on LionsLive.com. So send your questions, comments in. Who you'd like to have come in and talk as well. We really want to try to serve you with the best of Penn State football. Sharing stories about the past, talking about our current team, and looking for a great future at Penn State football.
Yeah, one more thing, Mike. How can they get in touch if anybody's interested in high school coaching, teaching the fundamentals? How can they get in touch with your organization, or how can they learn? How can they reach you, or how can they try to get the youth programs or anything on that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So really, you go to USAFootball.com. Right, we're the national governing body, so we do everything from NFL flag, obviously we also do pass kick, but we have coaching courses that we're creating. So literally, if you've ever thought about coaching, whether it's in youth or high school, we have resources for you. We have playbooks, we have practice plans, we have a drill library for you. So if you want to work with a 9-year-old quarterback and you don't know what drills to do, you literally click on 9-year-old quarterback and drills pop up.
Wow.
Each drill is like anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes long, so they're really short. But it'll teach you the drills and the skills that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely phenomenal.
No, that's great. And we appreciate that, Mike. And anybody listening, interested in getting into that type of thing, you know, I know I coached 6 years of high school football. I coached at Shamokin, and they've actually done some work with Heads Up Football. And, you know, nothing but great reports. And, you know, you got a first-round pick here that knows the ins and outs of the game. So we appreciate you giving back, Mike. And we know Joe Powell would definitely, you know, be happy to hear the things that you're doing.
Yeah, I think you're right. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael Haynes. We've been talking to Big Dude Stephen Davis, Jacobius Ryan, and Skip Drawell. Thanks for joining us on LionsLive.com, Little Network for the players and fans. Join us here next week for another exciting time as we talk Penn State football. Have a great night. We're blessed. Bye-bye.